everybody? It's your boy Icon here going over NXT Takeover Stand and or Deliver. This is going to be night 1 of NXT Takeover, and then we're going to do night 2 leading up into WrestleMania Weekend. So let's kick it off. No pre-show matches. Let's just start with the first opening match of the show. So the first match for NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver, respect. It was Pete Dunne versus Kushida. I was actually surprised. I thought they were going to start with a women's match because they usually start with a women's match on NXT. But and again, this was the match to determine who was the best technical wrestler of all the times. And I'm surprised because they've been putting Kushida over a lot lately. And it seemed like they've been trying to feature him. So, for this, I figured if you're trying to feature Kushida, what better way to feature him than at, the biggest takeover of the year, the WrestleMania takeover. But no, they kept Pete Dunne looking strong, and in the end, Pete Dunne got the victory. He tapped out Kushida. Like I said, I was legitimately surprised. The match didn't go as long as I thought it would, but then I had to remember, there are commercials on this pay-per-view, so they don't have all the time in the world that they can spend on matches because they do have to go to commercial break. So, like I said, the match, if the match was on the network, quote unquote, or on Peacock, it probably would have been a lot better. But the match was still good in itself, and like I said, Pete Dunne got the win, so kudos to him. And we're moving on to the second match. The next matchup was the Gauntlet Match to see who gets to face Johnny Gargano in Night 2 of NXT TakeOver for the North American Championship. And, if you saw last week's episode, we all knew what the order was going to be. We knew what order everybody was coming in. But I have to say, this match surprised me more than I thought it would because I thought the match was going to be very predictable because, since LA Knight, just showed up and he's the new guy, there's a part of you that kind of figured, okay, maybe they'll give it to him. But then Dexter Lumis, he's had beef and he's had the feud with the Way, with Johnny and them for a long time. So you figure, well, maybe Dexter will get the match and then they can conclude the feud. And then there was a moment where I actually thought Swerve was going to win because they let Swerve Scott start off with Leon Ruff, so the two of them can basically settle their beef. This whole entire match was full of guys who basically had feuds, and since they didn't have time for everybody to have a one-on-one match for their feud, they just put everybody in the gauntlet. But like I said, there was a moment where I thought Swerve was going to win, but then, surprise, surprise, Swerve was one of the final two people, which was cool for him to make it to the end, but they actually gave it to Bronson Reed. They did a very good job of making you think Swerve had a chance to win the match, which really, like I said, which really surprised me. I thought this match was going to go one way, and it went a way that I didn't think would go. And that's always a good thing when it comes to wrestling, because if they can still surprise you at this particular point, then they're doing, they're doing the right thing. So, kudos to Bronson Reed. So I guess we'll see what new relationships, what new feuds form now, and what happens with Bronson Reed, tomorrow when he faces off against Johnny Gargano for the North American Championship. Next up, we had what was so far the best match of the night. It was Tommaso Ciampa versus the General Walter for the United Kingdom Championship. And, it's sad because as good as this match was, because, I really enjoyed the match, it looked like a match that Walter's had on NXT UK at least 3 times now. I'm talking about the moves, the way it ended, finishes, high spots. It looked like an NXT Walter UK match. And because he has a current feud going on with that, I forgot the guy's name, but it's somebody that, he was an indie guy and he just got here. He's supposed to be challenging Walter for the title. It's like you knew Tommaso Ciampa wasn't going to win, so it's kind of like you already had that in your mind going into the match that Ciampa wasn't going to win. But still, with that being said, it was still a damn good match. So they beat the shit out of each other. But, but just like I thought, now there are some eyes on Walter now. People who don't normally get to see him, maybe when people get the Peacock subscription, they'll check out NXT UK because they're probably like, hey, that Walter guy seems like, like a pretty good dude to watch. So definitely good idea for them, for him to pick up the win. I mean, we all knew he was going to get the win. Good outing for Tommaso Ciampa. He came in looking totally ripped, like he was ready to go. He put on a good show. And we'll see, where Tommaso Ciampa goes as far as, now that this whole thing with Walter's over. We'll see where Ciampa goes. And Walter will continue with his feud with the gentleman that he's feuding with on NXT UK. So I said, so good match by both, and we're moving on. So I'm going to be honest with y'all. So for the next match, it was the triple threat tag team match. It was SMK versus the Grizzled Young Veterans versus, Santos Escobar and the gang. And, straight up, I did not realize this match was for the tag team championships. I forgot Lorcan and Burch had to vacate the titles. And because when I first saw this match on the marquee, I was just like, whatever. It's just a random triple threat tag match. SMK is probably going to win because they're the new guys and the Dusty winners. I didn't realize it was for the titles until the match started. But my prediction still held true because SMK ended up winning the tag team championships. And I'm excited for them because they put on a good match. They've been putting on good matches and putting on a good show, since they debuted. So, going forward, I don't know who. I guess they're probably going to feud with the young grizzled veterans right out the gate. Then maybe they'll move on to Imperium, and then when Lorcan and Birch are 100% healthy, then they'll come back and they'll try to get their tag team rematch. But until that happens, let's just enjoy the SNK the SNK ride and see where these things go. So kudos to both guys for winning the tag team championships, and we're going on to the final match. NXT Women's Heavyweight Championship closes out the show for night one. Io Shirai versus Raquel Gonzalez, and to be honest, they made the right decision here. Io's had a good run with the championship, and the way they built up Raquel Gonzalez, it was, it was her time, and it was one of those moments where you can feel it in the air, where they're ready to move on into a different direction with how they built her. They even proved on NXT television that Io Shirai couldn't beat Raquel Gonzalez the way, the girl tried to fight her like 4 or 5 different times during the show, and she kept losing. She kept losing the fight like over and over again. So, like I said, I have no issues with this. The only thing about this that kind of bothers me is it basically makes Dakota Kai like the sidekick now. And I remember when Dakota Kai, she won like the most improved or most likely to succeed or win a championship, and she won the tag team championship for for an hour. But like I said, this whole pairing between the two of them started because of Dakota Kai, and now Dakota Kai seems like she's like the odd man out, and like I said, she's like the sidekick now. So maybe there's gonna be beef between the two of them. Maybe the two of them will split up, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I definitely can't complain about the outcome here. And like I said, it was definitely Raquel Gonzalez's time. I am happy for Raquel Gonzalez. I just want to see what they're going to do with Dakota now. But congratulations to Raquel Gonzalez, and I look forward to seeing her dominate the brand, as the months and weeks, continue to move forward. And they also made the right decision because, it was their takeover event on free television, so they had to give us something. We got a couple of title changes, so we can't be mad at that. So that was it. That was my review for NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver. They definitely delivered on the first night, and I look forward to a commercial-free night tomorrow where we get to see, the NXT Men's Championship, the Women's Tag, and the North American Championship be defended. So that was it. So leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought about night one so far. What was your favorite match? What did you enjoy the most? Who you enjoyed the most? And what do you think is going to go forward based on everything that we saw tonight? So take care, guys. And for NXT Takeover, until tomorrow, I'm out this bitch!